Welcome to episode 256 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm your host and fellow student, Michelle Nelson, and together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can build cool, quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. Given the heat wave that's sweeping a lot of the country right now, I wanted to remind myself of some of the information in a previous episode called Keeping Your House Cool Inside and Out. I thought it might also be helpful for you to revisit that mini lesson to make sure you are considering those cooling solutions as you're planning your home design. But before we get into the show, let me share my firsthand experience with some of the materials, products, and methods that you'll hear about in the podcast. First, roof overhangs. I have 3-foot overhangs over the large south-facing windows in my house, those in the living room. Those overhangs do an incredible job at blocking hot afternoon sun and heat, especially during the summer. As a reminder, and you'll hear more about this in the mini lesson, the best way to stop sun from overheating your house is to block the sun and its heat before it can come through the window. Roof overhangs are ideal for that. Also, I invested in really good Energy Star certified windows with an extra coating called Sun Defense that helps keep the sun's UV rays out, and that keeps the house cooler. Another thing I did on purpose was to put the large living room windows directly across from each other to allow for good cross ventilation. That cross ventilation creates a really nice breeze that helps to make the house more comfortable in the spring and summer, even without air conditioning. Those 3 things, the roof overhangs, good windows, and cross ventilation, plus using zip system sheathing with exterior insulation, go a really long way in keeping the inside of my house relatively cool, relative to the outside. One last thing before we go to the lesson. Since putting that podcast together, I have been to an outdoor party with misting fans. Those things really work. They made sitting outside in 90-degree plus weather really pretty comfortable, and I'm not a fan of hot summer weather. All right, you'll hear more about those misting fans and several other cooling products starting right now. In this week's episode, I have some helpful strategies that we can use to keep the inside and outside of our homes cooler and more comfortable during the hot summer. I did some research on what we can add to our homes that will make high outdoor temperatures more bearable. I'm talking about things that we can include in and around our homes that go beyond an energy-efficient air conditioner that you know should be sized by a manual J calculation. We'll discuss things like awnings, outdoor shades and other shading products, outdoor fans, misting systems, swamp coolers, and outdoor portable air conditioners. And since not all cooling systems work well in all climates, I'll tell you which ones are best for dry heat and which are better for hot, humid climates. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Denata Nurse for being nice enough to give me a 5-star rating and review. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your kind words. All right, let's get right into it. Outdoor cooling systems come in 2 main categories: shading methods and evaporative coolers. Let's start by talking about shading methods. Outdoor shading methods, such as umbrellas, awnings, canopies, sail shades, pergolas, and outdoor solar shades, curtains, and solar screens, are perhaps the most low-tech outdoor cooling methods there are. All outdoor shading structures block sun rays, either partially or fully, and they can reduce temperatures by 10 degrees Fahrenheit to up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Outdoor shade methods provide a cooling effect on both the exterior and interior of the home. When outdoor shade structures are placed near the house and shade the exterior walls of the home, they also make the inside of the home cooler. That's because when you shade the exterior walls of a house, you're also shading and cooling the interior walls of a home. That shade can actually lower the indoor temperature allowing for lower utility costs. Shade structures offer protection against ultraviolet rays from the sun that damage your skin and your furnishings and flooring. You can combine outdoor shade structures with other outdoor cooling methods, such as outdoor fans and misting systems. And we'll talk about those in a moment. Now, we won't talk about every single type of shading method, but let's go over a few common ones, starting with umbrellas. One of the easiest and least expensive ways to create shade on a patio or deck or in your yard is to add an umbrella. Look for a cantilever umbrella. Cantilever umbrellas are offset with a pole attached to the side rather than in the center. That allows the umbrella canopy to be adjusted 360 degrees and block the sun wherever it moves throughout the day. Take a look at the show notes at BYHYU.com to see an image of a cantilever umbrella. Umbrellas are a great option for those who have several outdoor entertaining areas. Since they're not permanently set in place, they can easily be moved around your yard. Next, awnings. According to the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, window awnings can reduce solar heat gain in the summer by up to 65% on south-facing windows and 77% on west-facing windows. Additionally, the shade created by an awning can help protect indoor and outdoor furniture, flooring, and draperies from fading and other UV damage. If you live in a hot climate and you plan to have lots of windows on the south side of your house, like I will, you might want to incorporate permanent awnings into the architecture of your house, positioned so the awnings block hot summer sun but let in warm winter sun rays. In colder climates, permanent awnings may not be the best option since they can block warm winter sun. Another option is to choose retractable awnings. A retractable awning gives you flexibility since it can be extended when you need it and retracted when it's not needed. Back in the day, most awnings were made of metal or canvas. Canvas awnings typically need to be replaced every 5 to 7 years. Most awnings today, though, are made of synthetic fabrics that are water repellent and resistant to mildew and fading. Choose awning fabric that's opaque and tightly woven. Light-colored awnings will reflect rather than absorb the sun. But awnings made of high-performance fabrics in any color are the most effective in blocking the sun. Awnings require ventilation to keep hot air from becoming trapped around the window. Choose awnings with grommets, slits, or other openings along the tops or sides of the awning. Those openings will provide ventilation so heat can escape. Up next, solar shades and solar screens. Sometimes the terms solar shades and solar screens are used interchangeably, especially when people are talking about outdoor screens and shades. But here, when I refer to outdoor solar shades, I'm referring to roller shades that look similar to indoor roller shades. Outdoor shades, though, are made of more durable, weather-resistant material. When I refer to solar screens, I'm referring to mesh-like material similar to ordinary window screens. Outdoor window screens are heavier and darker than regular window screens, and outdoor solar screens are better at blocking the sun. Solar shades and screens also offer UV protection for your furnishings and floorings, and they provide privacy and reduced energy costs. Both outdoor solar screens and solar shades can be attached to the exterior of a window, or they can hang from the roof line of a covered porch. Outdoor shades and screens typically include built-in brackets to keep them from moving around in the wind. Screens and shades placed on the outside surface of your window will block heat before the heat enters your house. Surprisingly, indoor shades are not very effective in stopping outdoor heat. So as compared to interior window screens and shades, exterior screens and shades are much better at keeping your house cooler. Almost 50% of heat that comes into a house comes from windows, and studies have shown that using exterior screens and shades and awnings to cool your house is more efficient than just using a traditional air conditioning system. How effectively solar shades and screens are at blocking heat will be determined by how opaque the screens or shades are. Outdoor shades and screens come in different opacities or transparencies. How opaque or transparent a screen or shade is will determine the amount of light and heat that comes through. Outdoor screens not only reduce heat and light, but they also provide privacy. You can see out, but it's hard for passersby to see in. In addition to choosing your level of opacity, you'll have to choose whether you want dark-colored material or light-colored material. Darker screens and shades allow for a better view outside and better glare control, while lighter-colored shades and screens have reduced solar heat gain and greater energy efficiency. So, if your view is more important to you, choose a darker screen or shade. But if maximum cooling effect and energy efficiency are more important, choose a lighter screen or shade. Both light and dark colored screens and shades do a good job at cooling, but the lighter the screens, typically the lighter the screens, the more effective they are. There are also some high-performance shade and screens on the market that are maximally effective no matter what color you choose. Outdoor screens can be removed from windows in colder winter months, but if you live in a region that has cold winter days, you might opt for retractable screens and shades that allow you to draw shades and screens up and out of the way during the winter. Some disadvantages of solar screens and shades are that they partially obstruct your view to the outside, and they let in less natural light, making your house darker. And if the screens are not fitted securely, they can get damaged in a storm or other harsh weather. Okay, those were some shading methods. Let's go over the other category of cooling methods: evaporative coolers. Misting systems, misting fans, and swamp coolers are all considered evaporative coolers. They can cool in any environment, but work best in dry heat. Evaporative cooling uses moving air and water to cool. They work because water can absorb a relatively large amount of heat. Evaporative coolers tend to work best where relative humidity is 60% or less. But there's one evaporative cooler that works very well in humid climates, and that's outdoor fans. Outdoor fans can reduce our perception of the air temperature by 4 to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Fans don't actually lower the air temperature, but their cooling breeze against our skin makes us feel cooler. Fans work in the same way breezes do. They make the heat more bearable, even though the outdoor temperature stays the same. Most outdoor fans are available as ceiling fans, but more and more outdoor floor and wall mount fans are becoming available. All fans can be used inside a home, but not all fans can be used outdoors. Outdoor fans have sealed motors and electrical parts, outdoor rated blades, and are made with parts and finishes that won't be damaged by the elements. Outdoor fans are either UL wet rated or UL damp rated. UL wet rated fans can be used in all outdoor environments. UL damp rated fans need to be installed in a covered outdoor space, such as a covered porch. Outdoor fans work great in any kind of climate, as long as it's not too breezy. They'll work with a gentle breeze, but not really windy conditions. But think about it. If it's really windy, you probably don't need to be cooled by a fan. Although they work in all climates, fans are ideal for humid conditions because the cooling effect from fans increases as the amount of humidity in the air increases. Here's why. Our bodies cool us off by producing sweat. Specifically, it's the evaporation of the sweat that has the cooling effect. But the more humid the air is, the less readily our sweat can evaporate. That's why we feel hotter in high humidity as compared to dry air. As fans push that hot, humid air away from us, our sweat can evaporate more easily, making us feel cooler. If one method of cooling is not enough for you or your climate, consider combining outdoor fans with other cooling methods, like an outdoor shade structure. A few outdoor fans on the market even have high-tech features, even have high-tech features, such as sensors that react automatically to motion and slight changes in temperature and humidity. A bonus of fans and other evaporative coolers is that they deter insects, especially mosquitoes. Evaporative cooling uses moving air to cool, and insects hate moving air because it makes it difficult for them to fly. So, as long as the fan or swamp cooler or other evaporative cooler is blowing, the insects tend to stay away. All right, next let's talk about misting systems and misting fans. Misting systems and misting fans can work in all climates, but they're most effective in lowering the temperature in dry heat. Misting systems and misting fans can lower temperatures by as much as 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit in low humidity areas. And when I say low humidity, I mean humidity below 40%. So we're talking desert areas like Las Vegas in Arizona. Misting systems can lower temperatures by as much as 20 degrees Fahrenheit in areas with humidity ranging between 40 and 80%, and as much as 10 degrees Fahrenheit in areas with high humidity, meaning humidity over 80%, such as in states like the southern states of the United States. Humid regions do a bit better with misting fans, and drier regions do best with misting systems. If you live in a drier climate and really want to reduce the heat in your outdoor space, you might want to combine a misting system with misting fans. But misting systems are not often recommended in very humid climates. High-pressure misting systems and misting fans use pumps and motors to produce a very fine spray, often called a mist or fog. There are also less expensive low-pressure systems that don't use pumps. Those pumpless low-pressure systems give off a coarser spray that can get you a little wet and generally don't cool as well. Misting fans work well if the area you want to cool is deeper than 20 feet. Misting fans cool the air and project the mist further than a standard misting system. If the area you want to cool is less than 20 feet deep, then a misting system may be better for your space. A misting system is permanently installed on a patio cover and allows you to surround the area with misting lines and create almost a curtain of mist and cool air. But a misting system will not project the cool air. Both misting fans and systems require a source of water and electricity. While misting systems are permanently installed on the roof edge of patios, misting fans can be permanently installed or portable. Many misting fans can be used with or without the mist for greater flexibility. Like regular outdoor fans, misting fans work best when the weather is not too windy. Another evaporative cooler? Swamp coolers, also called desert coolers. Swamp coolers or desert coolers use a fan to blow fresh air across a water-soaked pad. This gives you a cooling effect similar to the cooling effect you get with the misting system or misting fan. But the water in the swamp cooler is contained in a pad positioned near the unit's fan. Swamp coolers add humidity to the air, so they're especially effective in dry, hot areas. That's where the name comes from. Desert cooler comes from the fact that those coolers work really well in hot, dry desert climates, and the term swamp cooler is used because those units help to make the air more humid or swampy. Swamp coolers differ from typical outdoor air conditioning units because swamp coolers are more energy efficient and produce only cool air, while air conditioners produce cold air and also hot exhaust. That hot exhaust from air conditioners must be led away from the cooled space. Some sites say that you can use swamp coolers with humidity levels up to 60%. That's because outdoor air and the moisture in the air moves as breezes blow it away. That will allow the swamp cooler to produce cool air. Although swamp coolers are great for humid areas, they're often bulky and noisy, and the dampened pad in the unit will easily collect dirt, mold, minerals, debris, and allergens. So the swamp's cooler pads need to be cleaned once a month or even more and replaced at least once a season. Lastly, let's talk about portable outdoor air conditioners. Okay, The term outdoor air conditioning seems like an oxymoron. I know, those two terms don't seem to go together, but outdoor portable air conditioners can lower the temperatures in an enclosed area more effectively than most any other cooling method. They've traditionally been used in outdoor events like tents or festivals or outdoor weddings. Portable outdoor air conditioners are most effective in enclosed outdoor spaces, such as garages and sheds. Otherwise, the cool air produced will drift out of every opening that leads to the outside heat. Portable air conditioners work well in all kinds of weather, but since they are the only cooling solution that cools and reduces humidity, they're especially nice in humid climates. On average, they can cool an area by 15 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. The disadvantage, though, is that they are mostly used for enclosed areas. All right. Lastly, I have a quick word about window tints and films. There are window tints and films that can be placed on your windows to block the sun, but I didn't discuss them today because most of us are building new houses with new windows, and adding window films and tints can often cancel a new window's warranty. So if you do decide to go with a window tint or film, be careful. Okay, before I let you go, let's do a couple of quiz questions. Question number 1, true or false? Outdoor fans are effective in all climates, but are one of the best cooling options for humid climates. That is true. Fans are evaporative coolers, but unlike most evaporative coolers, fans work well in humid climates. You can combine outdoor fans with outdoor shade structures for even more cooling in a humid environment. Portable air conditioners can also be used in a humid climate, but they're best for enclosed spaces, like sheds or garages. Number 2, true or false? Swamp coolers, also called desert coolers, are most effective in dry climates. That is true. And number 3, true or false? Outdoor and indoor solar shades and screens are equally as effective at keeping the interior cool. That's false. Outdoor solar shades and screens are far more effective in keeping the indoors cooler. Both block the light, but only outdoor shades and screens can significantly reduce heat. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you learned as much as I did, and I hope you'll join me again next week for another episode of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.